Hey, it's Bill, and you're tuned in to Three Questions and a Song, episode number 53, where the show is exactly what the title of the podcast says, except for when it isn't. With me tonight is Joe from Cultt of She. What's up, Joe?
Hey man, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. So just so you know, we are live on Facebook, so if anyone pops into the video and throws anything up, I may ask you questions or tell you comments that they have while we're live.
Cool.
All right, so this really is, it's quick. I'm going to ask a question, we answer it, I'll move on and ask another question, and it's more conversational than it is interview. But
Okay.
there is a little bit of format, which I told you ahead of time, and those people that have listened kind of know what it's like. For those of you that haven't listened, it really is basically three questions. We talk about a song, and there's a little more stuff in there, but you'll figure it out as we go. So to start things off, let me ask the first question.
I'm ready.
Okay. So, what is one well-known song from a current or past band that you wish your band had written?
Oh man, so well known. So what's well known? I guess it depends on what circle you're in or what music you're in. So we listen to a lot of hard rock and metal, a lot of prog metal stuff. So I guess in my circles, there's a song by the band Trivium, which I'm sure maybe a lot of people know. They're pretty popular. The song's called "In Waves." It was really, I think it was off their album that was in 2008. And that was, I guess, pretty well known. And like I said, it depends on the circle you're in. But that song, the whole album's great, but it's so powerful and raw, and the way it comes in is like it's like a lion tearing your face off. Like it's so good and powerful. And I'm like, if I could bring in an album with that energy and that force and just kick it off like that, like that's kind of the bar that you want to be at.
It's interesting that the coming in like a lion is what you mentioned. Earlier when we were chatting and we were deciding which song we were going to feature, my daughter Bria was helping, and anything that came in heavy, she didn't like. Which is what I told you earlier. She and I don't really see eye to eye on much music-wise.
Yeah, some people think that it hits their ear, I guess, in the wrong way, but maybe she'll grow into it one day. I mean, it's there. I started out too, like younger, with a lot of the pop punk stuff, and then I was like, I need more, I need more, I need more, and then one day you just hit that, and it just wells up something inside of you.
Now, with that said, the song that we are going to feature tonight, she did pick, which is a first for any of my podcasts. So, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we did both enjoy that one. So there
Cool.
is some hope. And all three of my kids kind of lean towards the poppier stuff, but I do have them liking some Southern rock. So again, there's a
There you
little
go.
glimmer of hope. Okay, so second question. If you could have one of your songs appear in a current or past movie or TV series, which song would you pair up with the big or small screen?
So you said
Movie or TV
movie or
series.
TV series.
So you pick a movie
Man,
or a TV series and then tell me which song and why.
that's a really good question because I love film. I'm a big fan of the movie. I don't know if you'll know it, or if this doesn't count as current. I like Jason Statham a lot. I like action movies. And you ever see the movie Crank?
No. But when you said
It's
Jason Statham, I think of the with Stallone and all the action stars.
oh, The
It's like,
Expendables.
yes, there's three of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I think of.
another great song was written for that movie by Shinedown. That's Diamond Eyes. But I don't know, the first movie. Like I said, I like all sorts of cinema, but like for some reason the movie Crank really stands out to me. So long story short, the plot is he's this like hitman. He gets knocked out. He gets his heart taken and like replaced with this experimental synthetic heart, and to keep himself alive, he has to keep seeking out adrenaline. Um, it's a crazy premise, and it's just basically nonstop action. But I would take our song, the one you mentioned on there. That's probably "Everybody Hates Me," just because it's so fast and zany and features a lot of weird, thrashy riffs and samples, and that seems like it would fit really well in like a fight scene, in that movie, just kind of because it's so over the top and insane.
Yeah, that was the song that would have been featured if Bria wasn't involved tonight. That was the one that I was like, this is the one, and then she's like, I don't really like that one.
Yeah, it's a little it's not everyone's cup of tea, but we're like actually we before this we were chatting about Metallica, right? Like everybody goes back, at least that's a metalhead, I think. Motorhead, Metallica, Testament, like those bands, the thrash metal bands, and sometimes you just got to get into those back into the classics, the classic metal, just that thrash nonstop banging your head kind of riff.
Yeah, that's definitely not her cup of tea.
One day.
we could get there, maybe. Or it could be like, my parents listen to country and it's still not my thing.
There is some good country. I mean, there's
the older
there's
stuff.
A lot of pop music, yes, that's actually country. It's not like a pop music with a southern accent. There's a lot of trash out there. I like Zach Brown a lot, actually.
I would listen to him.
He sings a song. No, I'm not afraid to admit it. There's a song he sings. It's called whatever it is. It makes me cry. It makes me cry every time because I think, not to get cheesy, but I think of my wife whenever he sings it. So
yeah, most of the country stuff that I'm a fan of is like, here I'm going to date myself again. I said older stuff earlier, but like Garth Brooks and Dunn, Alan Jackson, Clint Black. Oh, my wife is going to kill me. Pure Country was the name of the movie he was in.
You're not going to say Conway Twitty, are you?
No. The reason the song, one of the songs in that movie was our song at our wedding.
Oh, you better remember that.
I can't think of his name. That's terrible.
Oh no.
It'll work out.
She's getting the divorce papers right now.
And then like the Outlaws, the Johnny Cash and Chris Christopherson.
Oh yeah, they transcended country.
Yeah,
that's something that's
Willie Nelson
become a brand.
Hank Williams Jr.
Hank Williams Jr. Yeah, Hank Williams. Isn't there? One of their sons plays some crazy music. I think it's Hank Williams.
Hank Williams the third.
The third. It's the third. Yeah, he does some crazy stuff.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't do the country stuff. But anyway, so we're at the point now where I want you to tell us a little bit about the song "Ghost Town" that Bria picked.
Oh, sure. So let's see. I feel like I talk too much sometimes, so cut me off if I do. But that song, I think it's the longest song on the album, which, as kind of a not very famous band, you're always a little apprehensive about doing long songs because you wonder if anybody will listen. So I'm actually really happy you picked this one. It deals a lot with, from beginning to end. It deals a lot with like retreading your steps of the past, dealing with regret, things that you harbor, maybe you don't necessarily tell anyone. And it's visually when you listen to the song lyrically, it's kind of like, think of it like walking through your old stomping grounds and kind of remembering things. And this is where this happened, and this is where this happened. And it could be good or bad. And in particular, as I mentioned to you a little earlier, there's this song and there's another song called "The Things That Haunt Me" that kind of come from a very personal place. Because we wrote this for a few years, and it dealt many songs. I wrote almost all the lyrics for it, and Jess, the singer, did some. But it deals a lot with a strange relationship that I had with my mom, who passed away. And before she passed, I told her, like, I'm going to write you a song, which her song was really "The Things That Haunt Me." But Ghost Town kind of was like, I guess part two of that, and it's like my journey, or anyone who's dealt with death's journey, and or regrets, kind of pushing through. And there's a line I'm particularly proud of in that song, which it's toward the really chuggy, heavy, kind of slow pre-chorus, or not pre-chorus, bridge. And it says, it was one of these things that, like, I don't know, I woke up, I have these moments where I'll wake up like 2 or 3 in the morning and I just have like verbal diarrhea. Like I have the whole song in my brain. I just write it down. It's very strange. It's almost like it's from somewhere else. But it says, there is no going back now. Stop pulling on these chains. The promise of tomorrow forgets our yesterday. So what that really meant was, like, don't forget about what happened, but you can still move forward and stop thinking about the past. The past is to teach you what not to do in the future, and you're not the same person you were yesterday. So it's a really, like, the song's really a journey. Like, it's kind of a emotional journey.
I have a sometimes guest host that I need to make sure hears what you just said. He is the lead singer of a band out of Ohio called the Hellfire Club, and he's
oh, cool, X-Men reference.
Yes, there's more to it though. Think about the initials.
Okay.
But yeah, there are lots of references that go into that. But yeah, that was definitely they play up the THC thing too.
Gotcha. See, I'm a big nerd. I got Spider-Man. I mean, there's always comic books that come to my brain.
I'm a teacher, and I don't have my own classroom this year. But for the last 2 years, my classroom was covered in Marvel and DC. So
hell yeah, man!
And my son every once in a while will come up with a question, which reminds me, Aiden, this morning, and this you can. On the radio this morning, that I was listening to the DV morning show, which is DV is the oldest rock station in the world that is still playing.
Oh wow!
They're from Pittsburgh, I believe. I'm almost positive. But anyway, DV is well known worldwide, and they have a comedian that's on their show, and he said that his son asked him if Jesus and Thanos got in a fight, who would win. And that question made me think of my son, because he asks me stuff like that all the time.
Well, does Thanos have the Infinity Gauntlet?
And that's Jesus what he said. He said he told his son Jesus, and then he thought about it a little bit more and thought about the glove. But anyway, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a moment. We are going to listen to Ghost Town by Cultt of She. While we're doing that, make sure you head to the website, which I cannot point to, but it's scrolling over there under Joe. Yep, right there. It's literally right where your fingers are right now. For those of you that are hanging out with us live, you're not actually going to get to hear the song, because if I played it, Facebook would mute us, and that kind of defeats the purpose of this. So if you want to hear it, you will have to listen on the 15th of March. It's only a couple days from now for those of you that are with us live.
Already the 10th.
Yeah, go to buildascene.com. It'll be on the front page until it isn't, and then it'll be on the podcast page. If you go to podcasts, this will drop down. Just go to 3 Questions and a Song. You'll be able to find it there in the list of shows. It also airs on buildascene.com/radio. And it'll be on rootaroораdio.com, which is in San Diego, California. They play the show every other week. So I'm not sure if this is every or other. So you'll have to figure that out.
Well, thanks, San Diego.
So what we're going to do is we'll come back in as if we listen to the song. I'm going to, as I mentioned, I'm going to ask you the question that Denman, I say his name wrong all the time, Denman, asked. I'm going to ask a shortened version. That's why I sent it to you to listen to ahead of time. And then we'll edit him in asking the question.
Seems like a great guy.
He, since you brought it up, he was not my original guest for last week, or the last episode. He saved me because they ghosted me.
See, he is a great
And
guy. You
now,
could tell that in his voice.
now, in their defense, they're from the UK and we're having some time zone issues, and we also had some issues with their Facebook page not sending them notifications, and I moved on. I'm sure I'll hook up with them again later. But he is actually involved in a website that I'm involved in called First Angel Media, which if you're not familiar with, you should check them out, Joe.
First Angel Media?
Firstangelmedia.com.
Okay.
It is, they do reviews, they do photography, they do videography, articles about the music scene. It's and I'm the vice president over there. So
Aha.
Anyway.
Already on it. Saved it.
So that was Ghost Town by the Cultt of She. It's cultofshe.com. There's 2 T's in there. C-U-L-T-T of she.com. So last episode's guest, Denman, had a question for you, and I'm going to go ahead and let him ask it. And basically, he said that he listened to your older Roulette stuff, and he notices a maturity between it and what you guys do now, and he wanted to know if it was a driving force behind the name change.
Yeah, it was. That was the short answer is yes, but yeah, the real catalyst for the name change was kind of over this pandemic, and I'll explain that. So we were called Roulette for about 11 years. We've had the same band for 11 years. We toured, we put out 2 albums, a couple covers, etc. So that's a lot of history. But the problem is, when we came up with the name, we didn't know how long we'd be doing this. We didn't know how seriously we'd take it. And kind of later on, we started having conversations like, I make sure to have this conversation every year. Like, do you guys still want to do this? Do you guys still want to do this? You still want to play guitar? You still want to do this? Great, cool. We kind of renew our vows, so to speak. So it came up like maybe we should, as we were forming our new sound, as you do as you mature, like it seemed to be going toward a theme and toward a direction. And the name Roulette was kind of picked because it's random. We didn't know what we sounded like. We just knew we had all these different influences kind of crammed together. We didn't know what we were going to get. But now we were getting more focused. We had kind of a message, if you will. And the other thing is, branding wise, you search Roulette, what's going to come up? Casinos, Atlantic City, Las Vegas, right? There's a band in the 80s named Roulette. So we're like, I was a big fan, or I am a big fan of, and this is where we got the name of this band that I don't know if you've ever heard of, but they're great. They're an awesome band. I found them years ago when downloading songs illegally on LimeWire. Don't tell anybody. I downloaded one of their things. I downloaded one of their songs by accident. It was called Eating a Book. And the band is called He Is Legend. And they're awesome. And they have this great song that's called Cultt of She. And I was like, I've always liked that. I've always really latched onto that. We got a girl singer. We have a real culty vibe. We would legit get asked on almost every time we play a show because we dress very uniform. We try to look professional. People have asked us if we're in a cult. So I was like, this is like perfect. Like, let's spell it uniquely. It fits us. We have a logo. People think we're Satanists already. We're not. And it just the branding worked out, the name worked out, the theme worked out. And literally over COVID, we're all sitting around having a drink in our backyard. And I was like, listen, I think we should change the name. We got to rebrand. How do you guys think about, what do you think? And everyone's like, yeah, it's about time for that. Let's do that. So, and it just kind of worked out. We had music ready. We put out a full length album and we're here and we're happy with it.
So 2 bonus questions.
Okay.
I don't know if I've ever done that. So
I unlocked 2 bonus questions. That's cool.
So you're wearing a Spider-Man shirt.
Yeah.
If your band could be cast in any cartoon, what cartoon series would they put Cultt of She in? That's
going to be a very biased answer because I'm I'm 31. I still watch cartoons. I think cartoons are amazing. I would love to be. Does it have to be current? Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Does it have to be current? I would love to be in Batman the Animated Series or Batman Beyond, one of those cartoons from Bruce Timm, because they are still in my opinion the best written cartoons out have ever been created. Batman the Animated Series specifically. That is the cartoon.
So I used to play deck hockey. Are you familiar with deck hockey at all?
Deathclaw? Yeah. Metalocalypse?
What's that?
From Metalocalypse, the show?
No. Deck hockey.
Oh, I thought you said Death Clock and we're saying it weird,
No.
from Metalocalypse. No, I'm not familiar.
All right, so in Canada, they call it ball hockey. So
Okay.
basically, it's hockey played with a ball, and you run on a deck. It's a rink, but it's made out of sport court. But the reason I bring it up is my goalie mask is the Spider-Man 3 movie poster, where it fades from the red to the black costume.
To the black.
And then on my throat guard is the Batman Begins logo. And then on my chin cup, it says I Deny, which is the name of a song from one of my favorite local bands. So my goalie mask covers my favorite DC artist, or favorite DC character, my favorite Marvel character, and one of my favorite local bands.
That's freaking awesome.
And it just so happens that it says I Deny, and I played goal.
That's clever. That's clever. I'm a big I love Spider-Man. I don't know, I always was drawn toward. I always thought if my life was a comic book, I'd probably be the villain anyway. Fun fact, I actually auditioned for I do a little bit of acting too. I auditioned for, it was when they were doing Ant-Man 2.
Yeah.
And even the casting director was like, you got to play a villain. You got to play a villain in something.
You should call him up again.
Yeah. I got a big Venom tattoo over here on my wrist.
Nice.
He's like my guy. I love him.
I have I found it on Etsy, and it hung in my classroom. I don't currently have a classroom. The reason is the teachers are moving from room to room, and the kids are staying in the rooms because of the pandemic. So all my stuff came down, and there's I teach mostly 4th through 8th grade, and 3rd grade is in what used to be my room, because it was a bigger room, because I taught science in there, and they're a bigger class, so they fit in there. So I lost my room. But in my room, I had this vinyl, like a record that came from Russia. Like, it has Russian label on it. I have no idea what it says, but it was a die cut, and it's Spider-Man and Venom fighting, and then it's a clock.
What?
Yeah,
it sounds awesome.
It is awesome. And then I have and this is hanging in my home room. I have why am I blanking on what it's called? The canvas. It's a painted canvas. It's Batman. It was painted by the bass player of a local band. And it's hanging in my classroom. It's cool.
A band by you?
Yep.
Oh, that's weird. My buddy Chris, he helps with a lot of our music videos and stuff. The guy's super talented. He did a canvas for me. He did drip painting. You ever see that? Mm-hmm. So he did one for me, a big one of Venom, with his mouth open, but he did it in gooey black ink, so it looks like, the medium looks like the character.
Yeah.
It looks like the symbiote's on the canvas. Yeah, his stuff's great, man. Chris Knight on Instagram, he does drawings and things.
The
guy's so talented.
Knight or
Knight, no, Night. Chris with a K. I think it's on Nightcast or something as his company he does. Man, he's got great stuff.
See, we just gave him a free plug.
Gave him a plug. He's a good guy. He deserves it.
So, I we're all over the place now. I told you it's like a conversation more than it is an interview.
I like it.
So I do a lot of, when I'm teaching, I'll bring up movies or cartoons, just like I'm doing the interview. And in science, I teach about symbiosis. And it's right at the right age where I could go, hey, Spider-Man and Venom and Carnage? That's symbiosis.
And here's Maximum Carnage, the graphic novel. Read that.
No, we don't go into that far into it. Okay, so your second bonus question, I sort of prepared you for. So, for the last couple years, I've been trying to push to get Dave Grohl onto my show. And I've tried multiple ways. I've tried tagging him. I've tried tagging the Foo Fighters. I've emailed his management, and none of that seems to work. But what I have noticed is that he tends to, if he finds something on social media that it has to do with him, he tends to interact with it. So tagging him hasn't worked, so I've started asking a Dave Grohl question. And
Smart.
Where it came from is one of my favorite things that happens in the local scene is when you're at a show and the band's playing and they spot someone else from a local band and they're like, hey, why don't you come up and play this song with us? Or, hey, why don't you come up and sing this for us? I love when that happens. Well, the Foo Fighters are also known for bringing people from the crowd, just random people holding signs up on stage and saying, hey, play this with us. So I have lots of questions about how that started. But I figure if I keep asking this question and I keep putting his name in my show notes, eventually someone's going to come across it that knows him. So the Dave Grohl question...
Actually, that's a great strategy.
It's here to stay for a while. And the question is, who is your Dave Grohl? Which really means if you could go up on stage and play one song with any band, who would you play with?
So like me as the drummer, if I could fill in on drums for any band?
Yep. Just go up and play a song with a band that you idolize, basically.
If I possessed, or I hope to one day possess, an iota of the skill he has, I would have to say it's Gojira, Mario Duplantier of Gojira. That man is a machine, and I gotta tell you, the first time I saw Gojira was by accident, and I have never been more awestruck or dumbfounded by a band. I stood there for 4 songs, like basically mouth agape, and just staring at the sheer power and the sound and the control and everything. And I was like, I want to be that guy. I want to be able to play like that. How the hell did he play like that? But that would be like if his brother Joe's the singer, Joe Duplantier, if he was like, you can come up here and play Backbone with us, I would be psyched. I would probably butcher it. I would be psyched. Yeah, that would be my moment.
That's the smile on your face while you're telling that story. Now we have to figure out how to make that happen.
Dude, you got to. If you've never seen them, go. It's like a force of nature. I've seen band like High Production, Slipknot, Alice Cooper, bands like Iron Maiden, bands that put on a show. But Gojira comes out there, and they're these French dudes, and they're all kind of handsome, which is weird. And they just have lights, and they're very basic, and they just come out there and they blow you away. There's no fanciness, there's no pageantry. It just blows you away. You got to see them. I get chills talking about them.
All right, so 2 more things.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing I need from you is where can the listeners find out about Cultt of She and get a hold of your music?
Sure. So, thank you for putting the website down there. So, Cultt of She, with 2 T's, cultoffshe.com. We have links to all of our social media. Our album is called The Void. That came out, and that was actually the last thing to come out of 2020. We released it on the end of December in 2020. That's available on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, Deezer, basically wherever you listen to music, it's out there. So please just look us up, Cultt of She with 2 T's, and The Void is the album. Let us know, what you think about it. Let us know what your favorite song is. Chat with us. We're very talkative, obviously. So anywhere you listen to music, you'll find us.
And the next episode's guest is Tom Ticca from the Impersonators.
Yes.
It's going to be his second time on the show. And I gave you a little bit of homework to go check him out and come up with the questions. What did you come up with?
So I actually looked at a lot of his music. I went through, it was like Tom Ticca and the Missing Hubcaps, and then there was
Hmm.
like some Tom Ticca solo stuff. And you know what the thought was after I listened to like 3 or 4 of his songs? I said, why has Tom Ticca not, or I don't know if he ever has, but Tom Ticca, have you ever considered writing like jingles or songs for the opening of a TV show? Because this guy has like that kind of vibe where he could have wrote the opening song for like Friends or something. He's got some catchy, cool like show tune, happy things going on sometimes, and I feel like he could really do that vibe. So, Tom, have you ever thought of that?
Okay, so like I've been telling guests a lot recently, this is like the chainmail version of podcasts. So, you get the mail and then you have to pass it on to someone else, but you
Hmm.
also have it also comes back to you. So you need to tell some friends about the show so you can have some more guests, but you also have to come back and listen to the next episode so you can hear Tom's answer to your question.
I will. I
See,
absolutely will. This is, you got a good show, man. You run a good ship here.
thank you. I do want to thank you for hanging out with me tonight.
Well, thanks for having me, man. It was actually a lot of fun. I hope to maybe do it again in the future if we've got something else out there.
We you put out another album or some singles and look me up again, and we'll make that happen.
Sure.
Now, for those of you that are listening on either buildascene.com or rootaroo.radio.com, don't go anywhere because you're going to hear some more of the best unsigned music that you can hear. If you are listening on buildascene.com as a podcast or through one of the many podcast um, uh, directories that I have it on,
Portals.
yeah, portals, that's a good word. Go to buildascene.com, check out some more episodes of Three Questions a Song, check out some episodes of the Pennsylvania Rock Show, check out episodes of the SOS Concert Series pre-interviews. Go to the directory, look up the bands, check out the venues, look at our guide to the Pittsburgh music scene. There's lots of stuff there for you to check out and learn about the scene here in Western Pennsylvania and all over the world. So this has been episode number 53 of Three Questions and a Song. Make sure you check us out on the 1st and 15th of the month. And for buildascene.com and the Pennsylvania Rock Show, you can go and listen to the radio station 24/7, 365, or the PA Rock Show is released every Friday at 6 a.m. and starts airing on the various radio stations at 8 p.m. Friday. So make sure you check out all that stuff. Go to cultofshe.com, cultofshe.com. And you're about to hear from my friend, Mr. John, the American Hill Jack Lane. He's going to tell you how to subscribe, how to leave comments, and where to hear us. And we'll see you on the 1st of April. Catch you later.